I will call to order the March 15th, 2022 meeting of the Development Waiver Review Committee. At this time, if anybody has any cell phones or other audible devices, if you would please turn those off and we'll get started. I will begin with some introductions. I am Ann Lippman. I am the Community Development Director and I am the chairperson of this committee. So anybody who comes up to the podium and speak, please present all your comments and questions directly to me. I'll ask all my fellow members and our county attorney to turn on their microphones and introduce themselves, and we will get started.
I'm Jason Phillips. I'm the late arriving county attorney. Apologize for my delay.
I'm Lori Ashmore, Director of Paulding County Water System.
George Jones, on-time Paulding County DOT Director.
Bruce Coyle, County Engineer.
Frank Baker, County Administrator, and glad Mr. Phillips is here with us. Thank you for coming.
Thank you all. Our first agenda item today is review of minutes from our February 15th, 2022 meeting. If everyone has had a chance to review those, I will ask for a motion on their adoption.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to approve by Mr. Coyle and a second from Mr. Baker. Are there any questions at this time? If not, I will take a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. If there are any opposed, that would be a nay. There are none. The minutes are approved unanimously by a 5-0 vote. Our first case today is case number 2022-4-W. Which is located in the city of Dallas. It is application by PLG LLC, Stuart Wiggins, requesting to waive PDOT recommended left and right turn lanes into the proposed development off Palisades Drive. Property is located in land lots 481 and 528, District 2, Section 3. Project site is located off Paris Road into the overlook at Palisades in the city of Dallas. It is located in Paulding County, Commission Post 3, and it looks like we have had one call with questions. Is PLG LLC or Stuart Wiggins present? Okay. If you would come up and approach the podium, please sign in and begin your presentation.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Whit Porter, and I work with PLG, an affiliate of Parent Homes. We're located at 20 Mansell Court East, Suite 100, Roswell, Georgia, 30076. I'm here today to request a development waiver in regards to a few Paulding County DOT requirements. To give some background on the site, you can see it in front of you. It is in the city of Dallas. The access road, Paris Road, is actually part of Paulding DOT. To give some background on us purchasing the site, we closed on the site on September 17th, 2021, and we hired Littell Metrics as our civil engineer to design the site. It's a proposed 115 single-family detached home subdivision. We submitted our first submission of the preliminary plat to the City of Dallas on December 7th, 2021, as required by the city. We went through 3 rounds of submittals, obtaining comments from the city on September 20th, the second submittal October 11th, and the third on November 5th, and the preliminary plat was officially approved on November 30th of 2021. Each round of those comments did include a comment regarding Paulding DOT, specifically obtained Paulding County Transportation Department approval for entrance onto county roadway. The preliminary plat was sent to Paulding County from the City of Dallas. We did receive some comments from certain departments, but we never received any comments from Paulding DOT in that preliminary plat process. And maybe it's my mistake for not following up with all the departments, but somehow or another, Paulding DOT didn't get their eyes on the plat until we submitted our first LDP plan set on December 7th, 2021. We received our first comments from Paulding DOT on December 16th. The comments included 3 requirements. One is to include a right turn lane into the subdivision. The second is to add a left turn lane, decel lane into the subdivision coming from the dead end Palisades subdivision. And the third is a site distance requirement. We currently have our design showing an entrance from the first curb cut on Paris Road. And one of the comments is to move that entranceway further back from Highway 278. So we actually hired Mark Akampora as our traffic engineer, and he completed a access memorandum about this site specifically, going into more detail. I will let him kind of expand on his findings from that report. But in short, we have actually already implemented a right turn lane into the subdivision in our latest submittal, so we are acceptable to that, but we would like to request approval to remove the left turn lane in requirement, as well as shifting the entrance from where it is currently designed. I did bring a copy of the new site plan, if you would like to see it. Let's see here. So it's actually on 2 pages. This is the further south portion of the site, and this is the north half of the site where the proposed entrance is. And it's kind of hard to see from here, but we have included a right turn lane, decel lane on the entranceway. So with that being said, thank you for your time and consideration. I'll let Mark kind of go through his details on his report.
Good afternoon. My name is Mark Akampora. I'm the traffic engineer that did the assessment of the access for this project. There were 3 things that were asked of for the access: a southbound right turn lane, a northbound left turn lane, and moving the access further away to the south along Paris Road, away from US 278. So I'll tackle each one of them. The southbound right turn lane, the applicant has agreed to put in, so they're not asking for a waiver for that anymore. In my report, I recommended that they did put in the right turn lane, and they agreed that that was something that should be done. Basically, all of the traffic is going to come from US 278. To the south of this project, the road dead ends into a subdivision, so any northbound left turns into the site would be people just coming from that subdivision, which is going to be negligible. It might be a mail delivery truck that's delivering to the one subdivision and going to the other subdivision, or a UPS truck or a friend coming from one subdivision to the other. But there's not going to be any regular flow of traffic coming in northbound left, because that road dead ends to the south into that other subdivision. Therefore, my projections during the peak time is that they're going to be 0 left turns during the AM and PM peak time. And for that reason, it just doesn't make any sense to need to require to build a left turn lane for effectively 0 left turn trips. So that's the request for the waiver of that. And as far as the spacing, the request was to move the median to this. There's a median break there right now. The request was to move that further to the south. That road is already built, and there is a curb cut there and a median break there. So just let me step back for 1 second. Paris Road, at that point, Paris Road is basically a local road. It has a 25-mile-an-hour speed limit, and it's the entrance to the subdivision. It's called Palisades Parkway to the south, but it's not really a parkway. It is a local residential street with a 25-mile-an-hour speed limit on it. There is a crest of a hill at the location of that median break, and the maximum sight distance that's available is at that crest of the hill. So moving the access further away to the south along 278 would actually move the access down the far side of the crest of the hill, which would decrease the sight distance. So the optimal sight distance point is where the median break is, where the applicant is asking to put their access. There's already a median break and a curb cut there. So it is my recommendation that they leave the access at that point. And that access is sufficiently far from 278 that there's no expectation of any queuing backing up to 278, especially when a southbound right turn decel lane is built to turn right into this site. There should be no impedance to through traffic, and there should be no queuing back to 278. So my recommendation was to leave the median break where it is, where the applicant is requesting to put their access. One recommendation I did add is that there is a narrow landscape median there that has a little vegetation in it that could impede sight distance. So I made the recommendation just to make sure that the vegetation is clear in both directions so that there's no impedance, make sure that the sight distance is available. But other than that, my recommendation is build the right turn lane, please waive the need for the left turn lane, and leave the median break and access where it is, where it's requested. And I have a report and numbers, and I'd be happy to explain that in any more detail, but that's the gist of the request. Thank you.
Okay. The request that we're looking at today is just the recommended left and right turn lane. Is
Okay.
it my understanding that the applicant is agreeable to installing the right turn lane, and therefore they are not asking for a waiver for that?
Correct, yes.
Okay. The only other item we have advertised is the left turn lane.
Okay,
I think, and George, I'll defer to you, but I would think location of the curb cut is something that would occur in plan review, not here, but that's something that we cannot address today because that was not advertised. So,
Exactly.
George, I'll let you
I
jump in.
agree, that's kind of more of the Development Control Committee. Also
Okay.
give a little history on these parcels. They were originally, I believe, 3 separate parcels, 3 separate landowners. And at that point in time, when they constructed this Palisades Parkway, each individual parcel owner was given a entrance. So now it is under one control, so that's where we're at.
okay, that makes sense. So I gave you more information than what you need. So really, I think the only waiver request is for that northbound left turn lane then.
That's what it sounds
I
like.
believe,
agree.
I believe
Okay.
that's where we are. So, at this time, if you'll have a seat, I will ask if there is anyone else present who would like to speak on behalf of this request. At this time, is there anyone who would like to speak with opposition, questions, or concerns regarding this application? Appears there are not. I will open up to my fellow committee members to see if anyone has any questions for the applicant, so you may want to come back up.
I do have a question. I believe you stated these plans were sent to Paulding County DOT and nobody responded. Who did you send them to?
So I assume that the city of Dallas sent the plans when we submitted them, is my understanding.
Yeah, they're circulated by the city of Dallas.
So you actually stated that you sent them to Paulding DOT, I believe. I thought I heard that before.
I personally did not.
Okay.
Can I respond to that?
Sure.
If you are going to address the board, please sign
Sure.
in, state your name, and address all your comments.
Stuart Wiggins, Evergreen Development.
Okay.
During the submittal process for the preliminary plat, we asked if we needed to submit the plans to Paulding County separately to each department, and the city of Dallas said that their process is to circulate those plans or the preliminary plat to each required department. We did receive comments from Paulding Fire and Water and Sewer.
According to our records, I don't have any plat submittal or plan submittal for this particular subdivision until December of 2021. That's the first time. DOT saw this particular subdivision.
Does anybody else have any questions for the applicant? If not, I will consider the public comment portion of this closed, and I will ask if anyone has a recommendation or a motion to make on the recommended left turn lane into the proposed development.
Motion to approve?
Second. And that motion is to not require the left turn lane.
Be a
That is-
motion to approve the waiver request on the northbound left turn lane.
Okay, we have a motion made by Mr. Jones, seconded by Mr. Coyle, to waive the required left turn lane going in the northbound. Okay, there's a motion and a second. Are there any questions? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is granted by a vote of 5-0. Our next case today is case number 2022-5-W, application by Graydon Engineering requesting a reduction from 11 feet to 5 feet of proposed back of curb and existing right-of-way on Gullidge Road for driveway and encroachment. Property is located in land lots 914 through 917 and 956 through 958. District 3, Section 3, located south of Ivy Township Drive and Minima Court intersection, located in Post 4. We have had one caller who was concerned and had questions. Is an applicant, is a representative from Graydon Engineering present? Okay. If you would sign in, state your name, and direct all comments to me.
Hi, my name's Ralph Davia, Graydon Engineering. How are y'all doing today?
Good, thank you.
This is Phase 2 of the Ivy Township subdivision. We submitted for preliminary plat 3-4 times. The first time we submitted, we knew we needed a secondary entrance. We submitted it as a emergency access only entrance. That came back as the county requested that we provide a full left turn in, right turn in access. Went through preliminary plat process, got through it until we got to design. We realized that we were short on the shoulder requirements of 11 feet to fit the full access in, and I'm here before you today to ask for that reduction in the shoulder of 11 feet down to 5 feet. It's actually it's 5 feet on the western side of the road, and it's down to 7 feet on the eastern side of the road. Is there a way to pull up the actual drawing?
Yes.
Just scroll? There was one more we submitted that has more of a blow-up of it.
That's the only one I had.
All right, maybe I can zoom in on here?
You can roll. Should be able
Yeah, I can't zoom in on that.
to. Yeah. Trying to just zoom in on that part.
That right there, that's the. All right, it's still a little hard to see. The right here is where we're requesting a reduction right along this decel lane. And then right from where the taper, from the taper ends here to where the taper ends over here is where we're requesting for the reduction in shoulder. And then it gets bigger and goes back to, obviously, the existing shoulder.
Okay, thank you. You could just have a seat and we'll call you back up in a minute. At this time, I will ask if there was anyone present who would like to speak on behalf of this application. Is there anyone who would like to speak expressing opposition, concerns, or questions regarding this application?
Yes, there is.
So just have a sign-in sheet, if you'll just sign your name and then state your name and address all comments to me.
My name is Brett Wigley, and I am the owner of the corner of that property right there where he's talking about. The biggest issue we have is, well, one of the biggest issues is traffic on that road. It is ridiculous. And that's gonna put that turn lane right dead in front of my house to enter the subdivision. And already right now, it's like playing Frogger to get to your mailbox, because there is a super sharp curve that is not really showing too much in that picture right there. With a deceleration lane, it's my neighbor's, which is Bill. He'll be coming to talk to you in a second. But that's already a dangerous curve right there, and talking about putting an entrance right in that curve is gonna be dangerous for anybody crossing the road to get to your mailbox. And really, I don't want it. I mean, I've been there for 37 years in that house. I've lived on that road for 54 years when it was a dirt road. And I don't know what all comments I could say about it, because that's actually gonna put the entrance to that subdivision right beside my house. And with a proposed 735 homes, that is a lot of traffic in your front yard.
Yeah. I'll just- Do you have any other comments? We'll give the, some of our staff and the applicant, we'll ask some of the questions you've raised.
Okay.
Is there anyone else present coming up, sir? And today, really the only item this board is considering is the waiver, of the shoulder reduction. So we're not really here to comment
Okay.
on the presence of this, that was a zoning item, but please go ahead.
All right, my name is William Hanks, and the right-hand deceleration line is going all the way through my front yard. And I'm sorry, I'm not used to this. Has that intersection already been approved?
Go for it.
Just so if you have questions, you can, it's not a Q&A, it's just a time for you to present your input. And I
Okay.
think as you do and raise questions, I think to the extent we can, those will be addressed later.
Okay, my biggest concerns is that whole entrance there. Just to the north of where where that tapers in, like he was saying, there's a very sharp curve. My driveway will come out into the deceleration lane. And there's already now, we can't see around that corner, and I've almost several times been hit. I had to dump my motorcycle trying to pull out because somebody was going so fast around that curve. That's a 35-mile-an-hour speed limit, and people come up and down that road at 50 miles an hour. That's gonna put a lot of traffic there, and you're gonna put 736 houses a quarter mile up the road. Down the other way, south, is the new Thompson Ridge, and I don't know how many homes is going in there, several hundred. And I just found out that the property across the street from me, the 50 acres there, is under contract for another subdivision going, they're starting the approval process. So that's gonna put easily over 1,000 cars coming up and down that road every day, additional to what's there now. It's gonna be very dangerous to have that there, and like I said, it already encroaches in my property, and I'd see no reason why we should put a smaller buffer in there. What really needs to be done is all the way up to the curve needs to come back at least 10 to 15 feet so that it's not so dangerous there. And if you're going 11 feet, it's going to have to come back even farther. And it really should come back farther. I don't know why the other neighbor didn't show up. He doesn't live there. But that's my property, and I'm going to be the biggest one affected from that right-hand turn lane. And already, I'm concerned about where's the water going to go from the runoff? You know, the noise that's going to be coming up and down the street there to the front of my house. And I just think we need to look at maybe a better idea for an entrance as to where it's going to go there. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak in opposition or has questions or concerns about this application? Okay, thank you. I would ask the applicant to come back up, and does anyone, I'll start with asking some of the questions brought up by our last two speakers. Has any traffic concerns and the curve that's a little further up been taken into account when this entrance was located where it is?
Well, we ran the required sight distance based on the speed limit. We had the Gullidge Road topoed both ways at 500 feet, and we ran the required sight distance. I believe it's 390, and we ran it, and it works. We just recently ran the sight distance from, I'm sorry, your last name?
Hanks.
Mr. Hanks. We ran it from his driveway, and topographically it works, but if you're out there, there are some trees that are in the right-of-way. I believe that might be, is it the trees?
Yeah, it's trees all the way down, going from the north side of my driveway all the way to the curb.
And I believe those trees are in the right-of-way. I have a photo here.
And just
So-
to answer the next question I have, this phase of the development contains 279 lots, and the earlier phase is 96 lots, bringing both phases of the development to 375. So it's 375
Yeah.
lots.
Not 700.
Next question, has the intersection been approved? Have you submitted these plans to be reviewed by the Development Control Committee?
There were some sewer comments we had, just getting our depths right, but we've addressed all GDOT comments, or PDOT comments, except for it. This is why we're here. This is like the last outstanding comment.
Okay, and there was concerns about the, Mr. Hanks, his driveway will exit into the decel lane.
It does connect right into where we start tapering back in. And that was, when we originally submitted, we discussed it. I spoke to Kathy Stollard about it, about how it's gonna tie in, and, I was under the understanding that it was gonna be all right like that. That never came up in any of the comments that we received, so.
Okay. I don't think, there was a question about noise. I don't think that, unfortunately is relevant to what we are considering today, the waiver. Were there any stormwater or water runoff comments when you submitted these plans?
No.
Okay.
We collect the water that's going into the road, and we bring it back into our system and send it to the west. And we're at the crest of the road right there, and the ditch really begins right at that point, pretty much begins right at that point, where we're tying in.
It looks like your decel lane, does it have curb and gutter?
It does have
Does
curb gutter.
George, does Gullidge have curb and gutter? Or is it
It's different parts of it. The subdivisions have curb and gutter, but most of it where it's single-family homes is basically rural shoulders.
Okay. Does any of the committee members have any questions for the applicant?
I will say, this left turn lane was actually in the stipulations for this development when it was approved for rezoning in 2003. Did you all know about those stipulations?
Yes.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you, sir. You may have a seat.
Thank
If there are no other questions at this time, I will ask if anyone has a motion.
Motion to deny.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion made by Mr. Jones and seconded by Mr. Baker to deny this request. At this time, does anyone have any questions? If not, I will call for a vote. All those in favor of the motion to deny this request signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I believe the vote is unanimous and the request has been denied by unanimous vote. We have one stream buffer variance request today. This is item number 4. It is 2022-6-SBV, application by Scott Creel, requesting a stream buffer variance to encroach the 50-foot county buffer and 75-foot impervious buffer, permitting the installation of a gunite swimming pool. Property is located in Land Lot 144, District 2, Section 3. Property address is 580 McPherson Church Road, and it is located in Post 4. Is the applicant Scott Creel present?
Good afternoon. I'm Scott Creel, and we are applying for a variance of a stream buffer at the Hildebrand residence, as mentioned. You can see on the survey, the pool location plan, we're encroaching about 500 square feet of impervious and 410 on the county buffer, this is a 50-foot stream buffer. And we showed areas of recompense, giving back those buffers on the property. And that's all the information I have for you guys today. Pretty cut and dry on this one.
If you'll just hold on a second, is there anyone else present who would like to speak on behalf of this application? Is there anyone who would like to speak in opposition or has questions or concerns? Doesn't look like so. So I will turn it over and ask if any committee members have any questions for you. Okay. There being no questions, do I have a motion on this request?
Motion to approve, and noting it is a 3-acre large lot.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion to approve by Mr. Coyle and a second from Mr. Jones. Are there any questions from the committee? If not, I will call for a vote. All those in favor of granting this approval to encroach the 50-foot county buffer and 75-foot impervious buffer signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Would be nay. There are none. The motion is granted unanimously. Thank you. There is no other business, so I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
We, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?